Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Tonight I want to talk about a word. Just a word, a word, a word. There are some words that stop us in our tracks. Oh, yes. You know what word that stopped me in my track? Cancer. So that's a word. War. That'll stop you in your tracks. We got that going on now. Hate. Baby, we know something about hate. Eviction. I may know some about eviction. And death. All of those words, when you hear them in your mindset, everything about it turns around. It immediately you get a reaction. Those words have the power to steal our peace before we even know what comes next. You don't even know what's going to come next. You just hear cancer, war, hate, eviction, death. Oh my God. As a 3 times cancer survivor, I know what came after cancer. So your future becomes uncertain because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Your family is frightened. Your plans are interrupted. But I have learned something. It isn't the diagnosis that gets us. It's not the diagnosis. It's the next word we hear. We don't know. Once we hear the diagnosis, then what's after that? You said you have it, and then what happens after that? And sometimes it's the diagnosis that saves us because that's what it's supposed to do. Imagine we caught it early. That's good. You have it, but we caught it early. You have it, but guess what? We got a new something we're trying, and I think this will help you. You are not alone. We're going to walk with you. See, it's the next words to come after that one word that cut to the quick, and then after that, the next words, sometimes they erase all of what's been said, or at least allows for hope. So we know that some words don't erase cancer, but they do restore peace. And so then I began wondering, when I started looking at wording, my dog just came in, who always likes to know what I'm doing. If words can heal one person, what word can heal the world? And that's what I was talking about today to myself. We got all these different words. What one word could we say publicly out loud to the world that would in fact kind of lift up everybody right now? Because right now we need lifting up. We heard from Nolan Wells' family about the autopsy. We got what's going on with Iran. We have those young people that lost their lives. One of them as young as 19 years old. All right, what word and what words do we have that would bring peace to all of this? If neighborhoods could replace... Okay, so I'm trying to do a show, everybody. All right. What if neighborhoods replaced suspicion with trust? What if communities chose cooperation over division? What if prosperity became more important than power? Now, prosperity, how can it become more important than power? I don't know about that. I even asked myself, has there ever been a time in history that when there was no war? I said, at what time in my time? So we had some times when there was conflicts, but not any really war. There was a Cold War, but this one, it was just peace around the globe. Has there ever been a time like that? And I don't think so. There's always been some kind of skirmish somewhere. Just wonder how can we have, where we just human people, human beings, just operate in their community, in their nation, in their state, in their city, in their hamlet, and just enjoy the life that has been given to you or given to us, because we know there's nowhere to go with it. You're going to die. And so let's use the time that God has given us to make something happen good in the world. I promise you, wouldn't it just be wonderful to have a world like that? We can do that. You can have that world just in your world. I know people, my good friends that are retired. I might have some good friends that make sure their world is like that. And they close out what's going on around them, and they operate in peace. Peace. They don't, if it doesn't look like, smell like, or act like peace, they don't do it. They don't get in it, they get out of the way, and they just want peace, just to enjoy themselves. So, I know that's hard to think about because you got people over here, are we not our brother's keeper? I talked about that on yesterday. But it's still peaceful. You can make that peaceful. It's simply, so some stuff doesn't make the news, and that's that peace like that. The peace that you're finding for yourself on the other side of the screen. The peace you have determined that you're going to have. Because if you stop and get into what is going on every day, every second, when I heard the autopsy report, he was found in the water with all his clothes on. Really? And you call that a drowning? And you just saw him swimming. You just saw him with nothing on. And then he was found with clothes, in clothes. See, white supremacy, hatred, violence, those are choices. But kindness is also a choice. And let's choose kindness. Let's choose kindness. Justice is a choice. Can we get a little justice? Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. And building a community is a choice. So we can make some choices to get to that last word, that one word, that encompassing word, that word that I think will just take care of it all, called peace. We know that God will give you peace beyond all understanding. And I like to have that same kind of peace around the world. How can what can we do? Who can we vote in? Is it a voting situation? Then let's vote. Is it a telephone tree? Is it prosperity? What is it we have to do to get to that one word that when we hear it, we all smile, we all perk up. We all know, we all engage in it. We all write something about it. We all do it. We all share it. I think it's peace. That's the word. Wow. The future isn't written only by those who create fear. It's also written by ordinary people who decide to plant hope where fear once grew. That's you and me. We're ordinary people, and we're not dealing with fear. So I know another word that might be a good word besides peace is victory, but it's the victory over chaos, victory over racism, victory over power. Victory, it's a victory thing, a victory dance. We can do a victory dance, but peace, I think, is the key. Not a peace that ignores justice, because we have a lot of that going on. Not injustice, I'm sorry. But a peace built on truth and accountability and goodwill. Gosh, what happened to goodwill? I know the Goodwill Industries, that was a good name. What happened to having goodwill to one another? Goodwill to all men, women. Wow. We could have that. Hope has a chance. We can have this. And we have a chance. People have a chance. I just believe in my heart of hearts that it's possible to get to everything that I am talking about. Just get it in your hamlet, in your village, in your community, in your neighborhood, in your house, in your head. I believe it will make a difference if we work towards peace and that we share it with somebody and we figure out how to have it just in one spot. Because I think it is like, for me, I think if you have peace like what I'm talking about, that it will be contagious and it'll travel. If you just do it a little PIECE, two kind of peace, a little piece at a time, would make it'll flow from here and it will flow outward. And it'll encircle the globe. That's my prayer. That's my prayer for you and for me. And what's the one thing you do know though? You do know this circles the globe. You do know that without this, where will we be? And that is love. And you know that I love you. I do. And there's nothing you can do about it.